skydiving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
It's so much easier now. So much easier. Let's use this one today. Or for this one, not today. Oh, thank God for naps. Yeah. I just went and took a nap. I'm like, okay, this is, yeah. Good thing I did too. Worked out well for me. Aren't you happy it worked out for me? I don't know if you noticed this, but almost everything I wear has purple or black in it, or it says purple or weird. The only thing about not doing a bunch of sharing now is now I have to eat up more time. I got my car back. That's nice. It is what we thought it was, but it wasn't what we thought it was with it. Doesn't matter. It's done. It's running a lot better. Yeah. Now you don't have to slam it into gear. I thought I was just stupid or doing it wrong, but no. I learned how to drive a clutch before I learned how to drive an automatic. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure on that. It's weird though, because when it comes to motorcycles, I'm not very good. But I have to attest that I haven't tried very hard. I never had an interest in riding around a motorcycle. I don't feel protected enough. But a moped, yeah, I'll go for a moped. Maybe it just has to do with I just don't want to do the controls. That's probably more it. It probably is. So, all right. Well, we're about to hit that 3-minute mark, and I don't think people are used to me going live at this time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be in the 12 by 12. I just pulled it out from the daily reflection, but not today's daily reflection. Here, let me show you what my daily reflection looks like. My daily reflection book. It's in pieces, and I'm missing a few days. Pick a reading, any reading. Go ahead. I've been using it for 7 years to do this. Yes, 7 years. In 3 more days will be the 7-year mark. I decided February 1st is a good day to do it. All right. But not February 2nd. Why not February 2nd? Because that's Groundhog's Day. And I actually got out of jail on Groundhog's Day once. And yeah, I puked. I was in jail for a few months. I had a possession charge. I had a bowl of marijuana, right, in my possession. And so I had a warrant because I didn't go to court for that. It was Colorado Springs and couldn't get down there, blah, blah. They're all excuses, right? But it was my child support. They wanted me to go to jail for it for 6 months. It just doesn't make any sense that you're going to put somebody in jail for 6 months so that they can't pay their child support. None of it makes sense, but we're not going to get into that argument. I got it cut down to 3 months through work release. And I barely, by the skin of my teeth, made it through work release. I almost went back to jail. They say work release is harder, and it is. Jail, you just get to sit around all day and do nothing. work release, you have to follow certain rules, but you get your freedom. Like I was out all day and I just spent the night at jail and spent the full day Sunday. But I remember I got out and all the tension finally just got released and I just threw up. And I was in the park and I just threw up. Then I grabbed myself a big gulp and a pint of Jim Beam, and by the time it took me to get downtown, I was drunk. All right, let's get started. I did not drink once or do anything while I was in work release. In fact, there was this one guy, the first couple days I got out, right, and I figured out a different way so I could avoid everybody. But God, that nap felt so good. I want another nap, but I don't. Um, oh, there's this one guy. He's like, "Oh, you can get away with doing this and this and that," and he's like, I'll show you how to drink and get away with it." And I turned to him, and I said, "Don't you ever fucking talk to me again." And I think a lot of the people on the bus heard me, because from that point on, everybody stayed away from me. About a week later, I was named Pod Father, page 53 in the 12 by 12. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. I think I was actually a good role model for work, considering it's work release. In fact, my last day, I showed up. I had some friends that were gonna pick me up at midnight with some booze. See, that they let you out at midnight so you can't go drink it, but it's not just that. They get another day. See, if they let you ride out at midnight, they can replace you and they get an extra day that you're paid for that you ain't there. Right? But I showed up and I scanned my eyeball and they're all he's all, "Miller, grab your stuff, you're out of here." And this was the Depp that fucked with everybody. And I said, "Depp, don't fuck with me. This is my last day." Because they like to do that. But they do that so you don't come back. I know, because I've kind of worked the other side too. In fact, I was in there with a client. I go and I'm signing in, and the other deputy, she's like, "No, Dion, he ain't kidding." Actually, it was Miller. "He ain't kidding, Miller. Get your stuff. We're kicking you out." All right, let's get started. It means what they were saying was, "Thank you for making our lives easier. We're going to make your life easier." Okay, somebody will be here in about 4 minutes. So if I can put this off until the 12-minute mark, I could. I could keep telling us my jail stories. I'll tell you another one. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. While I was in Gen Pop, I had a bunch of money on my books, and child support kept stealing my money from my books, even though I had fucking paid. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. I'm just telling some jail stories for a second. All right. Well, I bought these Bob Barkers, but I was going off to work release, and I didn't need a bunch of this stuff. So I was kind of giving it away. But I messed with the wrong person. There was a guy in there who kind of ran the pod. He wasn't the pod father. But he was like one of the bigger drug dealers. Okay. And somehow I had crossed him and he put me in a corner. I've never been so scared in my fucking life ever over a pair of fucking shoes. We talked about that. They were going to kick the crap out of me, all this other stuff. I had a pretty big friend there. I mean, and I literally peed my pants. I was that scared. Right. And I don't fear many people, but actual drug dealers, I can't, you know what's scary? I can't feel anything from them. Like literally. And I can feel something from everyone. But when it comes to actual drug dealers, let me tell you about drug dealers. Number one, they don't do drugs. They don't do them at all. And they usually don't drink and shit either. No, they like to be clear-headed. They're businessmen and they have no empathy at all. And they're highly intelligent. This guy was fucking pow. He was highly intelligent, man. Yeah. All right. So that's my jail stories. I put it off for as long as I could so Amber could get here. We will be in the 12 by 12. I know I'm awfully awake. I took a nap and I got my car back. All right. Ugh. Did it say 52 or 53? Just double checking here. It said 53. So we're going to be in the 12 by 12, page 53. But I'm going to start on page 52. You know me. I always like to, do a little bit more. And this is in the middle of step 4. But all alcoholics who have drunk themselves out of jobs, family, and friends will need to cross-examine themselves ruthlessly to determine how their own personality defects have thus demolished their security. I will let you know what my defect was in that. It's my PTSD, and that's not necessarily a character defect, it's a mental illness. But in this case, it is my PTSD. I can't hold a job to this day. It's really hard for me. It's probably her saying, I'm still no. Activate glide. I bought a car, so now I'm getting all this bullshit. Right. Anyway, right. So when I was drinking, I did a lot of telephone sales. Right. I don't even need to look at a phone to dial it. I don't. Right. I was really good at it, and plus I got this voice. You notice my camera's a little off. See, it's a little. You watch. It's just a little glitchy. Anyway, my upload speed is as fast as my download speed. It has to be, or I wouldn't be able to do this. Yeah, that's why the podcast comes out real. Okay. Anyway, all right. So, yay, I did it. Amber, you texted me at 8 minutes. And I'm like, okay, can I get to the 12-minute mark before I really start on this? And I made it by almost. It was 1 minute. Good to see you. And I got my vroom vroom back. And now it shifts like a dream. Oh my gosh, it shifts so well. I wanted to drive it more, but thank you, God. It's funny. Earlier I asked God, I'm like, hey, I'm probably not gonna get my car. Can you help me find a ride? And Pastor Marcia called me like 10 minutes later, and she was gonna give me a ride on Friday. I don't need it now, but I think I may go ahead and take the ride anyway, just so I can hang out with her. So I'm going to redo this paragraph. But all alcoholics who have drunk themselves out of jobs, families, and friends will need to cross-examine themselves ruthlessly to determine how their own personality defects have thus demolished their security. Probably the one thing that I've heard more than anything that people have told me is, Dion, it's hard to be your friend. And you can take that any way you want because it's been in all kinds of instances, including me being sober. Trust takes me a while. Trust takes me a while. I've been hurt a lot. And so, but I had to take a look at my own personality defects to see where was Dion keeping himself from true brotherhood? Where was he denying himself in a lot of these things? Hey there, upside down. Yeah, it's a song by Jack Johnson for Curious George. The most common symptoms of emotional insecurity are worry, anger, self-pity, and depression. I just heard, of course, now I can't remember his name. It'll come back. Jim Carrey. He was talking about depression a little bit, and it made a little bit of sense that depression kind of needs to happen. It kind of needs to happen. I'm not going to go too far into it, but that it kind of needs to happen. And I tend to agree because it's also depression is kind of a process to getting somewhere. It has been for me to find out other things, right? So, really depends. Um, these stem from causes which sometimes be within us, and at other times to come from without. I have a friend who just wrote something about this, and they're saying that a lot of people are taking anger out on him right now. There's a lot of anger going around, and I get it. There's a lot of fear right now, a lot of fear. I can feel it. I don't know, and I'm not going to get into why and that other stuff because do, I'm not going to get into that today. Um, but allowing it to come from without. I'll make a very good, I love my examples. When it comes to my wife, God, also everybody just wrote me at 5:15. Um, Adams County wrote me it's after 5, which means they're probably saying it's okay for Pastor Marcia to go on Friday. And she would be absolutely wonderful there with it. That she would be a lot of help, right? That my wife, if my wife is sad, it's so hard for me to handle it. If she's not, and I'm not, she doesn't have to be in a good mood, but if she has a couple of days where she's down, I tend to join her. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I can't help myself. I'm so tied to her. I am. I'm very tied to her. In fact, she can't lie to me at all when it comes to feelings. And sometimes she has to tell me, I need to sit with this. I'm like, okay, that means I need to back off because then my codependency comes out. I want to save her, okay, but I want to save her because I'm the only person that's really been in her life who cared a fuck enough to save her, and vice versa. It's we have a very symbiotic relationship. To take inventory in this respect, we ought to consider carefully all the personal relationships which bring continuous or reoccurring trouble. Aha. Right? Now, what does it take? It takes two to tango, right? Okay. It should be remembered that this kind of insecurity may arise in any area where instincts are threatened. Questioning directed to this end might run like this: looking at both past and present, what sex situation have caused me anxiety, bitterness, frustration, or depression? All of them. Before my wife, all of them. Because I always thought that they were stepping out. But that's because I usually found girls that had boyfriends and I would steal them from them. That there was no trust there. It was always in the back of my mind. Well, they did it to somebody else. They're going to do it to you. So what would I do? I would make sure that situation would happen. See, right? I've used other people sexually in order for a place to sleep and a roof over my head. Think that didn't, you know, they knew, but it still causes this. Yes, it does. Appraising each situation fairly, can I see where I have been at fault? Did these perplexities per, perplexities beset me because of my selfishness or my unreasonable demands? Yes. Yes. Or if my disturbance was seemingly caused by the behavior of others, why do I lack the ability to accept conditions I cannot change? These are the sort of fundamental inquiries that can disclose the source of my discomfort and indicate whether I'm able to alter my own conduct and so adjust myself serenely to self discipline. Hey, Ingrid, it's good to see you. I wasn't sure if you'd be in the middle of something, but it's good to see you. Something had come up here while I was reading that. I don't remember what it was. It might come back up though. So If I knew it was going to be about sex, I wouldn't. Actually, I've gotten a lot better talking about sex, haven't I? I've been working on it. I've been working on it. It had something to do with, oh, I know what it was. A lot of my girlfriends just had to accept the fact that I was a big flirt. It was more than flirting, okay? And I don't do that anymore. I do not flirt with any women anymore. I don't do it because it's disrespectful to my wife. It's not just disrespectful to my wife, but it is disrespectful to them and to myself. Now, if I think you look good today, I'm gonna say it, okay? But I don't run around flirting with women anymore. Mm-mm. That is not that is not loving appropriately. Now everybody is a child of God. And so that kind of evens the playing field. Yeah. Suppose that financial insecurity constantly arouses these same feelings. I can ask myself, to what extent have my own mistakes fed my gnawing anxieties, besides all of them? And if the actions of others are part of the cause, what can I do about that? If I'm unable to change the present state of affairs, am I willing to take measures necessary to shape my life to the condition as they are? Questions like these, more of which will come to the mind easily in each individual case, will help us turn up root causes. Now, we're getting to the root. Ah, here we are. William James has made it. William, I'm going to let you know I will be stalking you. I will find your page and I'm going to post like a motherfucker. Oh, you even left me a website in order to. I'll be Okay, I'll be going to your website on oh, you're on Telegram. See, you continue to bother me, dude. Why do you do that? So let's see what he has to say. Maybe it's something we need. Maybe maybe all of us alcoholics and addicts just need more mushrooms in our lives. What got rid of? Got rid of my child anxiety, depression, autism, fibromyalgia, psychedelics, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune, and ADHD, PTSD, brain fog issues through the help of Me Cloud Sports. Check him out. He might have something you need. All right, dude. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right. So I was wondering, and I do. That is highly intrusive. At the same time, it's not. It's not. Am I so popular? I mean, fuck. I only get 3, 4 people here. You're in the wrong group, dude. You're like, this is like a waste of your time doing it here. And how do people think that is okay? You know. All right, let's see. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Ace to base, my friends. Ace to base. You're like, that's not how he ends them. What are he? Hey, not. I think I have a stalker. I think they just find me pretty. I think they just find me pretty. It's my luscious hair. Maybe it's the voice. But yeah, William James, he wants me. He wants me sexually. Let's get started. I'll stalk him tomorrow. All right. So we'll help turn up root causes. And that's what step 4 is all about, root causes, right? We've got to get down to the root, because step 4 and then 5 are like the weeding of a garden. And when you weed your garden, you got to get down to the roots, or they're going to grow back. They're going to fester. They're going to keep coming back, like some guy that wants to sell their shrooms. Man, they're really wanting to sell their shrooms. I used to do a lot of shrooms. I'm familiar with shrooms. Yeah. Anyway, so the root cause, all right, but it is from our twisted relationships with family, friends, and society at large that many of us have suffered the most. What do they mean by that? It's the stigma. It's the stigma that they're talking about. Okay. I grew up with two brothers and a sister. There was three brothers, but he was off and on, and you know, let's just count them. Okay. They grew up in a different household than me. They were treated differently. Things were different for them than they were for me. Now, did my parents do that on purpose? No. I was just, I was born different. Okay. I had a speech impediment. I had a lazy eye. I did whatever the fuck I wanted to. I was a bedwetter till I was 11, you know. So, and then so I was a child with a lot of problems. And then I turned into a child who was a problem child. No, it was always tough for me. People picked on me. I was always put down. Now there's a friend of mine. He just said, Dion, you always get me. You always, and it's because we both understand what it means to be treated like a piece of shit 24/7 by everybody that we fucking come in contact with now. It is one reason why I advocate like a motherfucker. Even my car. I'm like, I dropped it off last Friday. Where we at? Where are we at? I'm going to create urgency. And I tell people that too. I have no qualms because at this point in my life, you can't touch me anymore. You can't. Well, maybe a little bit if you keep bombing me and irritating me. Jesus. They switched it because what I do is I take certain words that they say and I put it in, and they're using the daily trudge. And I know it's the same person because it always leads back to the same place. Anyway, let's do this. God, please help me to help them fuck off. Thank you. No way I'm praying for that guy. Okay. So, yeah. And a lot of people understand that. What are we? We're the black sheep of the family, man. We are not treated the same. Even to this day, I am not treated the same. And if you do not treat me the same, you are going to hear about it. You will hear about it. If I see things that are unequal, if I see that only certain people can write in chat and they abuse it for the first half hour of the meeting, I'm going to fucking say something because it's wrong. Anytime I see somebody else putting somebody out intentionally because they think that they have some kind of power or control, I will call you out on it. Fuck you, bullies. We will not tolerate it. All right. But that's what they're talking about. We have suffered. We were the brunt of every fucking joke. We were called, I've been called every name in the world, and every single person was wrong. They were wrong. I thought I was stupid for a very long time because that's what people called me. And then I went and took the GED and I did it at 17 before, like a year before anybody else graduated from my class. And I scored in the 98th percentile. And I asked them, what does this mean? It means that means you're smarter than 98% of the people that took the test, or that you did better than 98% of the people. I didn't study. And they're like, you're a pretty smart guy. I'm like, wow, I did not know that. They were wrong. So we got to settle with us too. We got to settle with us too. You know, it's weird standing in front of the mirror giving yourself affirmations and shit, right? You know, especially for a guy to do it. Like that should mean any different, right? All right. We have been especially stupid and stubborn about them. That I'll go with that. Now, I'm not saying I'm stupid, but some of my actions weren't the smartest. And stubborn, I'll give you stubborn. Oh, I'm going to give you stubborn, all right. It was my mom's birthday. I think a lot of you know this story. It was my mom's birthday, and I think I was 7, 8, 1977. Yeah, I was like 7. maybe 6, because I was just starting to go to school. Um, and even then, I didn't take the bus. I rode my skateboard to school at 5. Anyway, the man that raised me, he informed me that my mother was not getting a birthday cake, and I took it. It wasn't that I wanted cake. Of course, I'm whatever age. Of course, I want chocolate or whatever, but that was not the reason. I remember it vividly. I even remember standing in the kitchen, looking up at my dad, going, "That's not fair. That's not fair to mom." Why? Because my mom loved me. She was the only person in the whole world. And I knew what it was like for people not to show up to your birthday party. Even at this age, I knew what it meant to be left out. And if you think I was going to allow you to do that to my mother, no. So I ran away. Long story short, my mother got her birthday cake, okay, which they should not have done. I don't know what the reason was. I don't know. Maybe she was just too busy drinking. The primary fact that we fail to recognize our total inability to form a true partnership with a human being. Our egomania digs two disastrous pitfalls. Either we insist upon dominating the people we know, or we depend upon them far too much. If we lean too heavily on people, they will sooner or later fail on us, for they are human too and cannot possibly meet our incessant demands. In this way, our insecurity grows and festers. When we habitually try to manipulate others to our own willful desires, they revolt and resist us heavily. Then we develop hurt feelings, a sense of persecution, and a desire to retaliate. As we redouble our efforts at control and continue to fail, our suffering becomes acute and constant. We have not once this is gonna hurt a little bit, okay? Well, not us because we've done the work, okay? But it's good to remember that I did a lot of this because of my incessant demands upon other people to give me power, prestige, and the like, to make me put me on a pedestal because I'm better than you. Okay. Now, in AA, there's no greater than or less sign. There isn't one. It doesn't exist, or it should not exist. Right. So, not once, we have not once sought to be one in the family, to be a friend among friends. Okay. I'm gonna kind of work through this. So, I did seek to be one in the family. I did try in my immediate family. They don't want anything to do with it. Okay, they still want to continue being fake because they're still sick, not drinking, but and it's bound to make anybody a neurotic, right? Right. And what is that? Well, it's just denial in a different form. It's denial in a different form. Oh, we could just suck this up and come together and treat each other okay because nah, I ain't doing that. No, I can't. I won't. Well, maybe that's too closed-minded of me, but my therapist tends to agree with me. Of course, I'm paying her. I pay her to agree with me. Now, you met my therapist. That's not the case. She would not do that because she wants me. My therapist likes me because I'm constantly just trying to be a better person. I am. That's what I want, right? So I did try to be one in my immediate family. Now, when it comes to my kids, I'm very much apart. When it comes to my kids, my wife, my grandkids, I'm very much apart. Um, to be a friend among friends, I've gotten a lot better with that over I this last year. Well, I was working on being a better friend. It was one of my intentions because I had fucked up with a friend, and I'm not willing to let that happen again. I'm not. And as I'm going along, I'm getting more and more friends. A lot of them are here. Every person that comes here is my friend. Yeah, a lot of you've been listening to me for a while. Um, but it's neat because I have a couple of friends. They kind of come and go, but they always stay in contact one way or another. So, or they let me know what's going on. To be a worker among workers, I that's the hardest one for me. It is, but I'm still working on it. In fact, Friday, I'm working on Friday. I like calling it that, but I'm working on Friday. Um, to be a useful member of society. Oh, I'm a useful member of society. It's one of my greatest joys now. Yeah, I like I absolutely love making my community better. I love it. I do. It brings me great joy to know, because here's the thing: we have a couple of choices. Don't do it. I know what you're thinking, dude, and don't do it. Want to see it? Want to see how this conversation's going? Don't do it, dude. Okay. Look at me. Hey. Okay. Thank you. He was gonna jump up there, and yeah, no, I saw him looking. I saw the intent in his eyeballs. All right, but I like being a useful member of society. It's kind of nice because we alcoholics have two choices. Here's the thing: it doesn't matter. You would have to shut yourself up and put yourself away, but for some reason, we alcoholics create ripple effects. I don't see it like I do with non-drinkers for some reason. I'm not saying that they don't make a difference. There's a lot of people out there that do. But alcoholics, we're going to make a ripple. So the choice is, am I going to make a good ripple or a bad ripple? Which one am I going to do? Because it's okay to advocate, but it's not okay to be a dick. Okay? The car. I wrote them today. I'm like, you guys probably do not feel it, and do not understand the urgency, and I get it. But my meeting is about a new detox on Friday, and if we want the right thing and for our community to be better, I need you to get this done. I got done. And when I went to talk to the guy, he's like, no, I felt the urgency, and I told him, I deal with anxiety and PTSD, so sometimes I get a little pushy. Okay. But thank you for what you did. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Shook his hand, told him to have a good day. Take care, brother. Right. Now, he was glad to get me off his plate. And he got to drive my car around a little bit. So good for him. Um, always we tried to struggle to the top of the heap or hide underneath it. See? See that extreme? And I can't be that. I got to be in the middle. Got to be in the middle. This is balance. Okay. This is dead. Okay. You don't want this. This is bold, dull, boring, and glum. We got to have a little excitement in our lives. And sometimes that excitement comes in confrontation because confrontation isn't necessarily bad if there is a solution that's being presented. This self-centered behavior blocked a partnership relation with any one of those about us. Of true brotherhood, we had small comprehension. It's true. I used to have small comprehension. Now I have a little bit more. All right, let's read the rest from here. This message contained in step 4 was the first one I heard loud and clear. I hadn't seen myself in print before. We call it reading your mail. Prior to my coming into AA, and I knew of no place that could teach me how to become a person among persons. Well, it helps when you come into AA and you feel like you kind of belong. That's going to get you started on a lot of this. From my very first meeting, I saw people doing just that, and I wanted what they had. One of the reasons that I'm happy, sober, alcoholic today is I'm learning this most important lesson. Yeah. And it brings up a word that we're not really going to like because of our defiance, conformity. Okay. Conformity, not conformity to the principles of the program. You don't have to conform to whatever rules are going on right now. That's the beauty of being an American. We have free speech. So, Yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for being here on this late night talky talk. I appreciate it. I usually don't have energy by this point, but I took a 3 hour nap. A 3 hour nap. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. This is how I end. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.